even as we struggle with gender, many more things, including LGBT, are on the cards. And what are we going to do? Because we as corporates and organizations in society have not even coped with the fact that 50% of the world is women. And I was at a conference last week which said there is every reason to believe that talent is equally distributed between men and women. And you're not really exposing yourself to the optimum pool because you're really choosing only from the 50% of the men, which has the whole bell curve with the other two ends in it, as opposed to a talent pool which could be far superior if you looked at almost equal numbers between men and women.
One of the things that we're seeing as a change in the trends is that men are really becoming advocates of the change. Men are really becoming the advocates of saying why diversity is important in their organizations. So just because we are all CFOs, if we have to look at the statistics in this area, Anuradha just said that 50% of our talent we are ignoring, and we are setting ourselves for failure as an economy, as a company, or as whichever corporation we belong to. So the fact that we are all here, we are talking about this, is a really welcome change for me personally as well. When can we be successful? It was when we did not just talk about diversity, but we talked about diversity and inclusion. So inclusion is really important. And if we have to do diversity and inclusion, it meant that we needed to understand each other's realities. And what was the reality, especially in our economy, was that there is an unconscious bias. When we got men into a room and we started talking about this so-called unconscious bias, just by way of workshops and interactions, the best part was that men were really surprised that the unconscious bias really existed. And when they started recognizing the unconscious bias, they not only realized it was sometimes at the workplace, sometimes it was even at home.
Unconscious bias is just as much with men as it is with women.
Yes.
We all have these ideas about it. And whenever you hear a generality, oh, women are like this, I would say look at whether that's really the case or are we projecting. I was telling a story to Pooja over here. I had what I thought was a fantastic woman manager in my team. I was told, this is not a collaborative manager. Not a collaborative manager, okay. What seems to be the problem? Very aggressive, very aggressive. Her approach is very aggressive. I said, oh, gee, I like that. I mean, I thought it was assertive, but they said, no, very aggressive. I said, if a guy behaved the way she does, which I think is kind of assertive, she's takes charge, gets things done, would you say the same thing about her? And I can tell you, when people thought about it, said no. It's because they were projecting a gender role onto her,
yeah.
and thereby actually disqualifying her. When I was saying, when I put her forward for other positions, there was, oh no, not collaborative.
There is freedom and gender equality required by both men and women. It's not just only about women, it is both men and women who need freedom. A man has equally the right to be sensitive, isn't it? A man need not be stern and aggressive all the time. It's not just that a woman needs to be sensitive and the man needs to be aggressive, and those qualities that we have defined, for a woman and for a, feminine qualities and masculine qualities, as you call them, you don't need to be that. So let's give ourselves the freedom from being stereotyped men. Is that possible for everybody? I mean, let's think about ways in which we can do that, and that will really solve the problem if you think and you actually stand up for gender diversity, because it makes economic sense, for one, as we said it, because it is a human right for every woman to be paid as much for the same work done as her male counterpart is paid, because it is a right for a woman to be represented when policy decisions are made which concern her. So I think this is what we have to respect, and this is what men need to do.